Welcome back to The Vineyard, a gentleman's guide to the life, career, and art of Vin Diesel. I am your co-host, Lincoln Brandt.
And I am your additional co-host, Jonathan Bonjour.
And today we are going to talk about what might be the most fun movie we've watched so far.
For this podcast or in life?
For this, maybe both.
For the show?
For the show, definitely for the show, perhaps in my entire life. And it is Pitch Black, later retitled to The Chronicles of Riddick, Pitch Black. But first, let's see our wine pairing.
Yes, let's. The pairing for Pitch Black, brought to you by Blendings Winery, is an owner's blend of all the darkest, reddest wines. This was described to us as being a little earthy, a little sweet, and extremely dark. Thanks, Blendings Winery.
Try that again.
Yeah.
What a wine pairing.
What a life. So Pitch Black.
Pitch Black.
Pitch Black. This is a movie that I think there's a lot to be said about it. There's a lot that we were going to say about it, but essentially it is a story of Riddick, a monster animal man who is in a space prison being transported to a different space prison.
Yes.
That ship crashes on a planet with two suns and a bunch of planets around it. The sun is shining all over. He has these absolutely straight, radical goggles.
Oh, yeah.
And essentially, the plot of the movie is there's these creatures on this planet that come out when it's dark. Now, it might never get dark until the eclipse comes.
When it gets dark.
And that's where dark gets to it.
But luckily, Riddick was wearing his radical glasses for a reason.
Goggles.
His goggles, because his eyes have been modified. His radical space goggles protect his modified eyes, which are designed to be able to see in the pitch black.
Yes, and they do this thing.
Once the movie becomes pitch black, the eclipse inevitably happens, and this monster criminal animal man has to guide a group of hapless civilians and survivors from the shipwreck through the town to a jumper ship where they're able to escape.
He discovers things about the monsters, he discovers things about the world, and more importantly, he discovers things about himself.
He does. This is a movie, John, I'm going to see if you agree about this, but it's a movie that takes a little to find its footing. There's a fair amount of limbo in this movie where I honestly was wondering what this movie was going to be, what it was going to be about. Because they're trying to set up all these things. They want to do a bait and switch where you believe that Riddick might be the antagonist. You believe he might be an alien kind of creature, as in the movie Alien.
Sure.
Hunting them down one by one on this derelict ship.
Technically an alien.
Yes, because all the characters are aliens because they're on a planet they weren't born on.
It's in space.
And it's in space. But the question of whether or not every human in a space movie is an alien aside, would you agree that it takes a little while for this movie to kind of find its footing?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. There's an opening monologue where he talks about how he has been smelling and hearing everyone around here, and the stasis chamber is one that shuts down every human part but doesn't shut down the animal part, and that's why he never actually fell asleep, which is great. Obviously.
Wild thing to just say, but it is this movie.
I think the crash is good. I think the early exploration as Riddick escapes and all the people are trying to figure out what's going on in this world, I think all of that is really good, and it's exactly what the movie wanted to be, and it's what it needs to be. And then there's some futzing around for just probably 20, 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And then the movie is back to being pitch black again, and it becomes the thing they wanted to make. It feels like an hour-long episode of a TV show in a way that I very much enjoy. That's not a criticism of the film. The criticism comes where it feels like that has then been stretched out into an hour and a half of movie.
Yeah.
And it almost works really, really well.
Yeah. There's definitely, I would agree, there's a time of spinning its wheels.
Absolutely.
Where they're kind of, it's like you can see the filmmakers placing the dominoes on the table, getting ready to knock them all over.
Yes, but the dominoes don't really matter, and most of them don't actually fall over.
Yes.
There is something I think worth noting that this movie, the sections that don't work are intrinsically linked with the sections that don't have Vin Diesel in them.
That is true.
Because the rest of the cast is doing fine. They're doing their absolute best at what they're gonna do. But there is something about Vin Diesel in this movie. This feels like the movie where he really hits a very strange and specific stride of just, honestly, what I think it is him letting go of the reins of what other people might think of his performance, what other people might feel about what he's bringing to the table, and just realizing that he wants to do this, he wants to be in this.
Yeah.
There is an acceptance of who this character is, apropos of any other feeling that someone may have.
Yeah. And for me, whenever I watch movies, the amount of confidence that both the filmmakers and the actors have in their own work really can completely decide my opinion of a movie.
100%.
A movie can be badly written or badly edited or badly produced, but if it is done with confidence and with, I would maybe even use the word pizzazz, it is something that I can find myself enjoying and find myself falling in love with. And I think Vin Diesel has pizzazz in stride. There's not a moment that he doubts himself throughout this entire movie.
Vin Diesel has pizzazz coursing through his veins. Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
And so what I think, through any other actor kind of centering this movie, it would have been okay, but it wouldn't have the kind of just fun, wild energy that it has, thanks to Vin Diesel's presence in it.
Yeah, we very often, just in our person-to-person human conversations that we have every so once in a while, we very often discuss other people that might have played this character. And I legitimately don't know that I can think of a more perfect casting for Riddick. I can't think of a more perfect example for this had to be Vin Diesel, and it could not be anyone else, because he is just serious enough for you to believe that he's a bad person, and just goofy enough for you to believe that he becomes good.
Yeah, and I think it is, of course, the character that we have seen Vin Diesel play over and over again.
Absolutely.
Whether we've seen him sharpen and kind of hone into his persona, which is a guy with a very tough, possibly even criminal exterior. In this movie, the criminal is completely unambiguous. He is 100%
extremely space criminal.
But with a heart of gold and
That would be an
with a
incredible
genuine,
band name.
extremely space criminal. Be a good first song name of a band called Riddick.
I like that more than I should.
And he has, Vin Diesel, of course, his character has a heart of gold.
He does. But it's interesting, this is the movie that I think takes the longest to get there. It is probably in the last 5 minutes of the film
5 minutes or so, yeah.
that he gains the heart of gold.
Yeah, there's a pivotal decision at the end. Are we spoiling this movie?
I think we must. You must have seen the movie Pitch Black by now. If you haven't, please go watch Pitch Black. Genuinely, I actually highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's fun. You'll have a good time.
Yeah, you really will. Spoil away.
At the very end, almost everybody has died.
Yes.
Except for,
Furiosa.
yes, the small girl who has her head shaved.
The small girl boy.
And the old man.
Yes, the old man we all kind of, sort of like.
Yes, yeah, he's cool. He's chill the whole time.
Yeah, and the lady, the main lady that we think
Yes.
they're gonna. Okay, let's try that again. And also the lady that we think is gonna kiss him later, but they don't.
They don't.
They never kiss.
Because the lady goes back to save Riddick. He's trying to fight these monsters and he's losing, and she dies in the process.
She gets the kiss of death.
Such a worse off deal than if she had been able to kiss Vin Diesel. But Vin Diesel then kind of picks up the mantle and rescues the remaining two people.
Yes.
Even
yes,
though
he
he
does.
had a chance to kind of stick it out for himself and only save himself, but he makes the right choice at the very end. And I do admit I did doubt that Riddick would make the right choice.
I'll be honest, this is the first time I've ever seen a story kind of like that, starring a guy kind of like Vin Diesel, that actually had me going for a little bit.
Yeah.
I wondered if he was just going to be the bad guy for the story. Fortunately, he's not, which leads us to want to have more sequels, or at least for him to want
Wait,
to have more
John,
sequels.
stop. You smell that in the air?
Is it the wine?
Well, let me try. No. The wine smells great, but it's
Wine
not
smells
that.
great.
I think it's a reading.
You smell... It does
smell
smell
it?
like books.
Let's go to reading.
Reading from the Word.
Today's reading comes from Vin Diesel, Fueled for Success, Chapter 9, Verse 1. After the excitement of filming Boiler Room in New York City, Vin's arrival on the Coober Pedy, Australia set of Pitch Black was a shock. The small desert town wasn't anything like what the urban Vin was used to. Coober Pedy was an amazing place in the middle of the desert, Vin recalled on the DVD version of Pitch Black. Not a tree, not a thing in sight other than the dirt. A few houses make up the town of about 2,000 people. I'm from New York. I grew up in a building of 2,000 people. You may be seated. What a reading.
What a reading, what a book, what a life.
Okay, is it time to talk about vignettes for Riddick?
Is there anything else you have to say about the movie before we get to that? I think the only thing that I want to say about it is just that it's interesting that this is his first sci-fi movie, just from his film perspective, from his career.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it's a first sci-fi movie. It's interesting that it's the first, is it the first Vin Diesel-led massive motion picture?
I think it would be,
I think it is. Both interesting things to note. I think he carries the torch for both quite well.
I agree.
What was your vignette for the film?
My vignette has got to be the conversation with the bounty hunter while he's tied up. Riddick is tied to a chair, and he's trying to kind of intimidate the bounty hunter, and he plays this really fun mind game, and it's very satisfying to see someone as kind of gruff and mean and annoying as the bounty hunter really get put in his place. And I'd like just being able to see Vin Diesel as the one who did it.
I assume it's one of those, there's many of these scenes where Vin is sort of out like that.
It is one of those.
Yes, of course.
And then if I could add just one little mini vignette.
Oh, of course.
When the movie frames it like Vin Diesel is about to murder a woman, but he just snips off a little bit of her hair.
Yes.
And it's almost worse.
A thing that doesn't matter or
No,
come
it doesn't
back
go
into play
anywhere
at
because she
all.
dies.
Well, she dies, and also he doesn't use it to do anything.
Yeah, he doesn't like use it as like a special wire that can connect the main manual override on the warp drive or something.
No, my man just wanted to smell him some hair.
Which, you know. What was your favorite vignette?
My favorite vignette from Pitch Black. There's a lot of options. I enjoy the bounty hunter fight that he has toward the end. That's really good, sort of in a circle, a little bit Dune-ish, as you pointed out. But that can't be my vignette because my vignette is the moment, the overhead shot. It is probably 17 frames would be my guess. The overhead shot when he finds out that there's a blind spot in these monsters' vision because they are just big hammerhead shark boys. He finds out that there's a blind spot, and there's a moment where he gets, actually, would you mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. He gets involved, and he gets in the blind spot, and then he just sort of does one of these. And it's probably my favorite moment of the movie because I really like the way that it portrays Vin Diesel as a goofy little guy who's willing to do whatever it takes, quite honestly, in the moment to fight these monsters. And then he does shank it multiple times, which I think is very good.
Yeah, it's kind of like How to Train Your Dragon.
It's kind of like How to Train Your Dragon.
It's kind of like every dragon has a blind spot.
If Hiccup was sexy.
Because he's not.
Right. Till the third one.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, that's my favorite vignette. Lincoln, I have a question for you.
Yeah, tell me.
What did this movie teach you about life?
What this movie taught me about life is that anybody can change and anybody can lead a group of people through the desert as a Paul Atreides or a Moses might.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. What did it teach you about life, John?
The thing that this taught me about life, gotta get bigger muscles.
Yeah. If you want to be able to defeat hammerhead shark xenomorphs.
Which I do.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, and bounty hunters.
And
it also taught me that bounty hunters are not as cool as you might think they are.
No, they're
a lot
not
of people have
all
this
Boba
perception about bounty hunters that it's Boba Fett, that it's Dog the Bounty Hunter. There's this view of bounty hunters, and I'd like to take a moment. There's a view of bounty hunters that I think is irresponsible, if we're being entirely honest, because they're not specifically cool. They're not uncool. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's cool ones. But I think being a bounty hunter is like being a police officer if you just didn't have the guts to be a police officer.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. And what did this teach you, John, about cinema?
You know what? This actually did teach me something very interesting about cinema. It took me a moment to get there, but I think it might be the wine. The thing that this taught me about cinema is that you can just make a short little movie. It's okay to make it. It's just okay to make a short little movie.
What does movie clock in? An hour 20?
I think it's an hour 20. Yeah, and honestly, it's a little long for that. I think you could juice it up a little bit. There's things you could have done, but honestly, we have our complaints about the 20 minutes of the movie. I don't think it's that bad for having that.
It's brief, so it doesn't bring it down enough to make it not worth it and not enjoyable to watch.
And by the time you're feeling that kind of gap, they're already on to finding the solar eclipse. You're already jumping into the next section of the movie, so it breezes by relatively fast. So I think that's my takeaways. You can make a short movie, and it's perfectly fine to do so.
Yeah. And also, you can make a movie with the scope of a TV show and just use the extra time to get to know the characters a little better.
Absolutely. And for some of those people, I really care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree. And what did this teach you about life?
You already asked me what.
And what did this teach you about Vin Diesel?
What this taught me about Vin Diesel is that he is finally at this stage of his career, which is admittedly still a very early stage.
Absolutely.
He has already honed in and perfected who he wants to be in movies. And it's just so fun and gratifying to see him play in that space for an entire movie.
To kind of crush it out the gate.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't doubt his conviction in the performance. I'm convinced the whole time, and I'm just having a good time not just watching Vin Diesel, but watching Riddick on screen.
Really, genuinely, he falls into the character of Riddick in a way that he won't do until Dominic Toretto.
Yeah, and this is a movie, again, we don't want to oversell or undersell this movie. They never leave the desert planet. They stay on the same planet throughout the whole movie and leave at the very last second.
100%, and you never see them leave.
You never see them actually leave. But it's still so entertaining and it's still so fun, and I love a good little original sci-fi movie.
I like a good survival movie.
Yeah.
I like that at the end he can fly away and he waits for a second for them to get closer so we can burn them.
That's pretty awesome.
Very awesome. This
Yeah.
is an awesome movie. Like, this is just a very, very fun movie.
Yeah.
And Vin Diesel is extremely good in it.
Very easy to recommend.
This is the kind of movie that we make the show for. This
Yeah.
is the sort of thing that made us want to do this. It's unique, creative, original, extremely weird, and I love it so much.
Yeah. I think that just about does it for the Vineyard.
I think that'll do it for the Vineyard. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us. This is what, a mid-season?
Yeah, about
Somewhere in the mid-season. Reminder that we would really, really like Vin Diesel to be on this show for season 3.
We would love it if Vin Diesel was on the show.
Or 2. I just figure this won't gain the traction that it needs to until 3.
Yeah. So tell other people about this show, please.
Please do, yeah, because we would love for people to see this. This means a lot to us. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks. See you next week.